Thank you so much, Kerry, for that introduction and for being our wonderful chair. And I'd like to acknowledge Sue Patterson here as well today. So it's our 30th anniversary next year, which means it's a big year for the festival, and we've tried to give you a bit of oomph in the program next year. So I hope you'll notice in the program that we've put around the room that there's a little bit more of a kind of weighty feel to it this year. And I'd encourage you just to look through that program in depth, because there's so much in there, and I'm not going to cover anything near what the full program is today, but I'm just going to give you some top picks and in brief summary tell you what they are and why I think you should have a look at going to them. So the first one is the Todd Corporation of Pina Bausch. So what is it? It's contemporary dance at its most compelling by somebody who changed the face of dance in the last 100 years. She is one of the greatest artists of our generation, and this is a one-off opportunity to see this company in New Zealand. People have tried to get them here before, and there's no doubt that they probably won't make it again. So it's real festival fare for those of you who are up for something that is completely unique within New Zealand. That's it. And if you're not sure about going to this, there's a movie screening in the Embassy Theatre on the 10th of November, which is a background to Pina Bausch's life and work. And so I know that someone I was talking to earlier is going to go to that movie to just get a sense of what it is before you commit. So the second thing, La Verita. What is it? It's beautifully crafted circus spectacle. It's a tribute to Dali and a tribute to surrealism. Why you should go to it? It's because it's by one of the world's leading circus theatre exponents, a company called Finzi Pasca, led by Danielle Finzi Pasca. It has beautiful, beautiful imagery, and if you take time to go online, you could see a video that gives you a sense of it. Incredible physical feats, but also something that's quite intellectually satisfying and suitable for all ages and many, many different types. So have a look at that one. Knee-High Theatre are bringing a piece called Dead Dog in a Suitcase, and this is Sue's pick for the club. She's going to take a group on the 1st of March in 2016. So she'll give you more details as in due course. So what is it? It's musical theatre, which is always a good time, and this is a satire, so there's a lot of dark comedy in it, and it will have you grinning a lot, but also some very fantastic tunes to hum along to. Great music, very contemporary. And why should you go to it? Because it's going to be a lot of fun. A very sophisticated theatre company who've been to Wellington before and have been a huge hit in previous visits, and they really know how to deliver a good night in the theatre. Fourth pick, the Lincoln Centre Jazz Orchestra, led by Wynton Marsalis. So what is it? This is an easy one. The greatest jazz ensemble in the world. Coming to us from New York. They've been here before and again wowed Wellington when they were here before. It's a chance to see two incredible shows. One is a collaboration between the Jazz Orchestra and our very own New Zealand Symphony Orchestra. So for those of you who love the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra, it's a chance to see them swing, and let's hope they can. But also if you prefer a straight jazz program, they're also doing that, and as you know, they are proud defenders of the heritage of jazz, so that is something that's a must for, I think, all kinds of music lovers. Also for music lovers, Concerto Italiano. So they're a group, as you can guess, from Italy, and they'll be performing the Monteverdi Vespers, which is one of the most loved pieces of spiritual music in the history of music in the world. And why you should go and see this particular version, because the Vespers are often done in little pieces in various programs, but it's very rare that a company such as this can perform the work in its entirety. It's 90 minutes of amazing music, and it's done with absolute integrity and authenticity, and that's a very rare opportunity. Next one, for those of you who have families or take kind of intergenerational groups to things, For the Birds, which is going to be at Otari Wilton's Bush, is a nighttime journey through sound and light installation. It follows the big hit that we had at the Botanic Gardens last festival called Power Plant, and that sold 20,000 tickets, so you can see it was a really big hit. The same artists are coming back, and this time they're making a piece called For the Birds, which is a response to something that's very special in New Zealand's natural history, birds, and how we interact with them. As I said, a great thing to take people of all ages to, and a great family event. So there's three more things that I'd like to point you to. One is the Writers' Week, which is a little festival within our festival, and there is just treasure unbelievable in that program. The full program comes out in January, but at the moment what's in the brochure that you've got are the highlights. And one of them that I think is particularly interesting, possibly to this group, is Henry Marsh, who's a neurosurgeon. He practices at the top of his field, but has also become a writer and thinker about the wider issues around life and death and how we all kind of treat these moments of great critical moments in people's lives, not only the science of it but the great humanness of it. And he talks a lot about health systems and the kind of wider way that we manage people in those environments. But those of you who are readers will find non-fiction such as Simon Winchester, beautiful fiction such as Patrick Gale, Muriel Barbary, and some fantastic New Zealand authors in that program as well. I would also encourage you, given that we're on a Go New Zealand Day, to have a look at a lot of the New Zealand work. I'm not going to talk about it in detail, but there's some incredible artists ranging from dance to theatre, again to literature and children's work that I think is really worth supporting, because we have fabulous artists living and working in New Zealand. And then the last thing is just remember as well that you don't have to spend a penny. We'd love you to spend lots of your pennies at the festival, but there's a lot to do for free. And the top picks are the opening of the festival, Le Grand Continental, when you'll see 180 Wellingtonians dancing this highly choreographed spectacle in Civic Square. And those of you who are inclined can join them for a disco in Civic Square afterwards. But also for the 3 weeks of the festival, down on the waterfront, we'll have a little hub called the Contact Festival Playground, in which there is a beautiful handcrafted recycled Spanish fairground that is very, very charming. It's made of lots of recycled materials, like a Ferris wheel that's made out of old toilet bowls. And what's even greater about it is runs entirely on people power. So if you go there with a little person, be prepared to be pulling winches or pedaling things or pushing things that make all the rides go. So it's a whole lot of fun for everybody, and it's going to be our little kind of home down on the waterfront. So that's the very, very brief summary of our program. There's a lot more detail in there. And if you're like me, you should also seek out those quirky little gems that are things that are really pure festival fare. But thank you very much for listening today. And of course, if you've got any questions in the coming months, you've got somebody right here every week who can answer a lot of your questions about the program. But you can always phone the festival or have a look at the website. And I'd also just remind you that in the next month we have an early bird period, so if you can get organised and book earlier, you'll get a substantial discount on your tickets. Thanks very much.